You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yes. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking at.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Plan to Prosper podcast show. I am Sharon Campbell, your host for this Tuesday afternoon. And today is a continuation from last week about grants. So often people ask me about grants because I have been in the funding world as it relates to nonprofit and profit businesses. You can receive funding from both. And so we're going to talk to you about getting prepared, getting ready, and know this about grants. Because you're right, the first one, you may or may not receive it. So many times people get frustrated in the grant writing world and just give up. They're not going to give me no money. They are this, they are that, they are the other. We have all the reason why the funder is not doing their part. Many times it is because we do not have our stuff in line to align with the funder. And so hopefully this month of June, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., you will find us on Pod TV, Facebook at Sharon Campbell Solution Group, LinkedIn, YouTube at Plan to Prosper Show, Roku, and Amazon Fire at Plan to Prosper Podcast Show. So we're providing you this information. Now, I will say this, you are not getting everything that you really need to do. That's another step. To be successful, you must carve out time to do this. And so often we would say, well, I want to find a grant writer. I want to find a grant writer. And then when you find one, the questions you have is, how successful are you? Well, that's a valid question. Yes, it is. But the grant writing world has changed. You no longer have that personal one-on-one with the program officer or the funder like you used to. You only build that after you receive your grant. But there's so many other things you can do to make yourself more attractive, your proposal, your work, your website, your social media. There's so many other ways that you can do this. Where many of us may think AI and chat is the way to go, it is a tool, and that's all it is, to help you create and redefine your ideas. But it is not the tool to cut and paste someone else's ideal creation and think a funder is going to fund that. The reason why there's so many tools out there that universities are using now to see students just cutting the pace, they're not being creative of anything. So AI and chat, yes, use it. It's just a tool, but make sure that it speaks for your voice. Help you rethink about your ideas, but truly write it yourself. And funders can really tell the difference. The other point I would like to make is that sometimes your website does not reflect what you say you are doing in your grant. And that can be very confusion to funders, especially whenever you are saying that you are in their population of work that they're doing, a scope of work that they're doing, a part of their mission, and your website and your Facebook doesn't line up to that. And sometimes we spend our time posting stuff on LinkedIn, which is a more professional site, and not posting on Facebook, where so your funder's going to find you. So sometimes we don't know how the sites work, and therefore we find ourselves posting stuff that's not relevant, and funders notice that. And so just for today, we're going to just go over some really basic information that you need to know. And we have placed this on our website, which is www.SharonCampbell.com. Look for the blog, download it, use it, read it, mark it, whatever you need to do to it, because you will need this information. Information is very powerful. And when you don't take the time to absorb, understand it, and know how to apply it, your chances of getting funded is slimmer and slimmer. And so you would say, well, why should I even try? To do it. So I am looking for you to really think about what that may look like, how that going to help you grow and thrive and make a difference in your funding pool of funders. So let's get started. Understanding grants. Grants are funded by and provided by grantors, such as government, federal and state, foundations, individuals, and corporations, for a specific project or program that you would like to implement in your nonprofit or your profit company. Now, that could be launching a new product that you may need. It could be so many that after school program. So you just think about the funder, what they're asking for in the grant, and do you meet that need? So if we talk about government funding, that's not just federal or state, that's your local government too. The town or city that you're in have opportunities for organizations, both nonprofit and profit, to take advantage of. It is, do you have your paperwork in order? And have you built a relationship with the government? Too often we don't want to do work with the government. They have too many red lines. They have this, they have that. You have already set yourself up to not receive funding that you said you wanted by saying what they don't have, compared to reading the guidelines and align yourself. You may not be able to do it this year, but next year you'll have all the guidelines, have put them in place, build the relationships so you can apply. Grants are not instant. Funding is not instant. Applying is not instant. It is not. It is time. Just like building your company, building your nonprofit. It is the time you put in that's going to generate the resources and revenue that you desire. Foundations. There are private foundations and there are community foundations. You have to do your research to find out which one apply to you. And then how do you start getting in front of them? Before we have all this technology, they would come out and have funders meeting or foundations meetings, and they will come to you and be a group, and someone hosts, and they'll talk about their company and everything, and what it looks like and what they're looking for. And it was a way to build. We do have that still sometimes, but a lot of it sometimes be Zoom, sometimes it be webinars. Sometimes you have to go to their site and read and look at their webinar and get engaged with what they're doing way before you actually apply. Sometimes you just apply. Sometimes they ask for a letter of intent. Sometimes the letter of intent asks you specific things they're looking for. Sometimes they may just ask you for a letter. Why do you need these resources and what you're going to do with them? And they will do their own research by looking at your website, your social media, and just really researching what it is you're doing in the community. That's another way. Or just get it for the funding you want. It could be just a simple letter. Corporations have a branch that they use to provide money. But also corporation has a way, say for instance, banks. Banks can sponsor your events. Yes. So they could be a sponsor as of a 500, 1,000, 1,500, 5,000, platinum sponsor, 25,000. So a corporation can use the corporate side as well as their foundation side to help you. And so it's building these relationships with corporations and understanding what is it that they do and does it line up with what you are doing. Now, for our private businesses, for profit, I just strongly encourage you to reach out to some nonprofits and start building these relationships with them, because so many times they will need your services to work and to do some of the work that they need. Also partner with universities, community colleges. Students need projects. Universities need white papers written. So there's so many ways to do that. And I do hear you say, wow, that's a whole lot to do to get some money. No, it isn't. It really isn't. It should be part of your portfolio. It really should be part of your budget, your revenue streams. How are you going to bring in money? If you consistently say that I'm just going to go out to one client after one client to do workshops, you're going to work yourself. If you consistently say, I want to make 7 figures, 8 figures, 4 figures, whatever figure it is, one at a time, you're going to spend more money, more time and energy, more frustration than sitting down, writing out the scope of work for your company and how you're going to build it. Individuals, yes, individual people will give to your cause. I'm going to give you a prime example. After school programs, individual people will sponsor a child for some camp. Yes. Funding that you did not expect, but receive as an afternoon program. Funders have, individual people have their own mission in life to give and to do. And so I would encourage you to not only look at corporation, foundations, government, but also look at individuals, but also think about what it is that they would like to fund, because everyone likes to get their tax write-off for participating in these programs that are given to improve the quality of life, community, and the economy as a whole. So keep that in mind. And so let us go ahead and move straight into the grant writing process. The grant writing process is a very meaningful process, very informative, education-wise. I think is really opens your eyes up to how do you manage your nonprofit, your organization, or your business. How do you really run it? And it really will help you look at in detail, am I doing the work to make the impact in the communities that I'm asking for? So the first thing I always tell all these organizations and businesses to do is gather information on the community that you are designed to work in, and for businesses, the market that you want to be in. Take that time and gather good data, current data. Now, where do you get that from? You can towns and municipalities, they have the economic development online. Great data, great place to start. The other place is the Department of Commerce for your state. They have great information. The census have great information, but also you can do look for CN. Oh my goodness, can't think of the name of it, but they provide a lot of data out there on your market. But also, as a business, you should be getting blurbs from the market that you in for news, up to date current news and how the market is doing or what you're doing. And so if you're in the transportation market, you should be really making sure that you are engaged in what is happening at the federal level, state level, and local level. And that should be coming out regularly. You also should be engaged is making sure you have different certifications so that you will have the tools to apply. So gathering all of that information first is so very important because preparation is important when you get ready to write a grant. You've got to identify the needs. Just because you say there's a need, you may have some, but then you don't want to run out enough people or you spend enough time trying to create marketing materials to reach an audience and have all these different campaigns. And then you have like drip campaigns or campaigns where you offer 99, then you scale up. Too many times those campaigns do not work. They do not. If you say you charging this amount, then at the end you're telling them, oh, scale up to $4.99. That's a disencouragement to people. They will zone out, delete, don't go any further. You may get one or two, but then they feel that you have not been upfront with them of the total cost. Whenever you are researching your funders, make sure that you're collecting information that aligns with your mission and their mission. And too many times we will say that we'll Google and find information. Now, for grant writers, I'm going to say this. No, for those of us that would like to pursue the opportunity about grant writing and grant research. Grant writing and grant research is two totally different fields. Okay. Our company was in both of those fields, was in the grant writing field and the grant research field. But we have moved now to specialize in grant research. Many times I have worked with companies that say, I keep Googling these grants opportunities and I can't find enough or I can't find what I'm looking for. It's a skill to be a grant researcher. It really is. It's not just putting in some words. It's not just looking for keywords to try to get Google to bring them on up. It's not about, I just put it in AL and have them to do it. It's way more than that. It's a lot of reading. and understand it. And there's so many different other tools that grant researchers are investing in that individual people don't know, don't see the value in it, or do not have the funds to do it. And those tools are the difference in you receiving $1 million worth of grants to write that year, or just getting $50,000 worth of grants that you found yourself. So it's a big difference. Those two worlds are so different altogether. And so we're going to pause right now, give you a moment to think about it. Go to the website, download this information, winning grants from our blog, and we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial. Welcome back again. So we're still talking about writing grants, winning grants. So let's talk about something before we go actually into writing a proposal. Be prepared to pay for grant writers and grant researchers. They have the expertise to help you. Now, grant writers. A grant writer cannot guarantee you if you pay them, you're going to receive this grant. Grant writing is about submitting many grants in order to get funded, and then take the ones you did not receive funding and ask the funder to elaborate so you can resubmit that. Many organizations do have grant writers, but they are paid staff people. That way, whether they get it or not, that person still receives a salary. I know when you pay somebody, you want to get the grant. Well, you have to think about it this way. Grants are online. So when they hit send, they have another 1,000 people hitting that same button for some grants. Whether they're government grants, federal grants, state or local foundation, you have many people applying for those grants. Okay. It is worth investing in a grant writer also around the federal. But when you do ask these questions about federal, about how many federal grants that they receive. Even if they receive, they wrote 4, And they got 2. That's a good term. That's a good number. Excellent. Excellent. For our company, we train organizations and nonprofits, businesses, private businesses that make a profit, how to write grants, with the exception of federal grants, because we believe when you step into that arena, that's a skill set. Okay. Now you can build your skill set up to that. You can partner with other ones to write federal grants, but as it relates to foundation, corporations, individual government grants like local and state, we can work with you to train your organization, how to do that. Because that way you'll learn how to submit it, all the documents, what it takes. So if you don't get it, you won't be out of any money. That's important. That is our sweet spot to helping people, because funding has changed and the way you submit them. So we teach you all of those details. The other part is grant researchers. We help you find the grants for your mission that aligns with the funder mission. But we also open up that grant and go through it with you and say, these are all the things you must have in place before we apply for them. That's a good grant researcher for you. That's going to take the time to help you go through every one to make sure you have a good understanding. So, hire a professional, the ability to pay. And if you don't have the ability to pay, you must start going to classes or have that person to spend some time with you to at least get you started. I know that's a lot. You cannot build an organization or a company without having the ability to pay experts to help you. Sometimes that's why people get stagnated and their company cannot grow, because they can't afford to pay, choose not to pay, don't have a budget in it, and their company have not even created one and put that line item in there. That's so very important. Many other times it's just you just don't have your documentation ready. Too often nonprofits will go on the IRS website and say, oh, I'm going to get the easy form to get my 501(c). They say it's easy, I can do it. But they don't read the details, because once you do that, you've already said long success is not part of your business plan, because that is not the one to choose if you're planning on going for government, federal, foundation, and some individual money. So that is not the one to choose. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with writing your proposal. I think all of this information is important to you before you even think about moving forward. Knowing what it is you're going to need to do and commit, and time management is so very important. Pulling out time to do this type of work. First, at a grant proposal, go ahead on and write your executive summary. That is where you have your thoughts together about the overview of the project, the objective, and how much money you're asking for. That should be about a page. You can just write that because you have some idea. It don't have to be perfect, because I'm going to tell you, after you put your grant together, you're going to go back to that and rewrite it over again. Yes. So that's number one. Number two, a need statement. It must be a compelling need statement to why this project is necessary. Not that you need the money so you can have an income for a private industry, but that this project or this proposal or this funding is going to elevate your company to help more people. For nonprofit, it is how the impact is going to happen. And so create your needs statement. Why? Why is this important? Write it out. Next, project description. Describe the project in details. All the goals that you wanted to have. The methods of how you're going to do it, the way, and the timeline. How you're going to implement it. How long it's going to take. It's like if you would lend me this amount of money in a grant, I'll take the money and purchase this equipment, and therefore now I'll be able to service more people in our community. So if the grant could be, if we had a community garden, we already have the land, we have everything, but we don't have the equipment. So we need to purchase all of this equipment because it's going to better the community. That's just one example. A clear budget. You must have a budget for your organization or your company, and for every project, program, activity that you desire to have. Now, for nonprofits, that is essential because you cannot commingle funds with different programs. Even if the same people are participants, you cannot take one fund of money to fund the other one. So you have to get clear. What is it that you're trying to do? It may be one goal, but when you start having 5 or 6 goals, that's too many goals. I like 2. You could implement 2, but it could be one that's going to be, that one is going to be the greatest impact. So sometimes just taking one goal when you start and writing it and putting all the steps to it. How you going to do that? What is the outcome and how you're going to measure it? And have that in a budget so that you will know what everything is going to cost. Because everything cannot be put in that budget, because you got to have an operating budget, how the organization operates. And funders are going to ask you for your financials. If you are saying, well, I don't want to show them what I'm making, you have already decided you do not want to be funded, because they're going to ask, because they need to know that you're a good steward. And they're going to ask, okay, if your operating budget is $180,000, then if you're asking for a program, how much is that program? Because funders is not going to want to fund everything in your operating budget. Now, for private companies, yes, if you say a lot of times that you have money that goes to businesses to do makeovers of the front of their building in order for it to be more attractive. But you're going to have to come for budget. And they may ask you, submit your taxes, submit your budget, submit this in order to show that you're paying your taxes, or that you have a budget item in there and you had it for marketing, you don't have the money. So there's many different reasons why. And it's just the art of doing business. If you really want to do business and grow it and reach that funding screen that you desire, even in nonprofit or profit, there's some things you just do because it's just part of doing business. It's not that they're signaling you out. They're saying, this is how we do business. And these are the things we need. Okay. Next, you need to have a clear evaluation plan. How are you going to evaluate to ensure that your project was successful. There are things going to come up, and your project may get off to a bumpy start in the beginning. And you may say, wow, we didn't participate, that it was going to take us 3 months to get this going. Things happen, the economy happened. And so now you didn't start as rapid as you thought, or you could not identify enough of people to make the project fundable. Okay. In your mind, with your data that you have, it was there. Yes, we know it was there. But when you actually had to go out and engage people to participate in the project, that became a struggle. For businesses, it could have simply been that you was marketing to the wrong group, and you need to expand and go wider to bring everyone in. So can all of this be done? Yes, it's done every day in funding world. You'd be amazed at how much money too many people leave on the table. And we complain about some people get the same money over again because they do the work. They do the work, and it's important. They build relationships. It's important. Build a relationship, building collaborative partnerships makes a difference in how you're going to grow and thrive. And reading these papers and doing the research is so very important, and writing. And so if that's not something that you want to do yourself, then you're going to have to pay someone to do that and bring it back to you and help you craft that. The money you spend up front in the beginning is going to be worth every penny of it in the long run. Remember what I said, it is not instant. You got to stay at it. And you are going to get frustrated. But that's part of the process. Yeah. The next is follow up. Too often, we don't follow up. Now, there are times when the funder will say, please do not follow up with us. We will contact you. Respect that. You don't have to follow up with them. But what you can do is look on their website and monitor what they are doing. And also look at some of the previous people that have received funding and have conversations with them about, their project. How long did it take? When the funder finally get back with you, can you walk me through some of the ways that we need to be prepared? There's other things you can do to prepare for receiving that email, whether it is funded or not funded. So your funder send your email and say, at this time, we'll deeply regret we cannot fund your wonderful project. What do? You thank them for that. And you ask them, is there anything else we could have done? You ask to see your score, to see how you could bring it up the next time. Because remember, every year, this funding is coming around. And then you continue watching and monitoring. Yes, that's how you build a relationship. That's how you build getting to your next grant with that funder. All of those things is about leadership, development, management, growing your company, that others are taught about what you do when you're not even in the room. So it's not just submitted it, but the follow up. Time of submission. Make sure you submit it on time. So let me give you a piece of advice. Just because it said it's due at 5 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, do not try to submit it on Tuesday. Things will go wrong. Give yourself some 3 to 4 days before the due date to submit it, because things will go wrong. Especially if you submitted something through the federal government, that system will get tied up. So I encourage you, submit it early, 3 to 4 days. And after you've done that, what do you do next? You start a process all over again. Because the more grants you write, the more funding you receive. And so I thank you for joining us today to talk about the grant writing process. Now, next Tuesday, we're going to talk about the grant research process, because there's 2 separate processes that you must do, and then you blend them together. And do not think that your organization or your business cannot do them, even if you are in business, just you, just yourself, and you want to grow it. We're going to talk about time management, because so often we have more time than what we think we do. And so it's about carving out that time just for that, just to do that part of the giving. Because you can spend a whole lot of time chasing, trying to get to this client, when you can spend some time developing a skill set that would help you, or paying for someone to help you develop that skill set. It's so very important. Either way, you're going to pay. Well, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon for winning grants for nonprofit and profit businesses. We're looking forward to continuously helping you grow. I thank Mark Lee for being part of the producer of the show, helping us reach over 200 countries and over 7+ different platforms. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Go to our website, www.SharonCampbell.com. It's the Plan to Prosper podcast show. And I thank you and have a great afternoon.